Guys, it's Sora here with another video. Today I'm going to be showing you my PlayStation 5 game collection. Now, we have a lot of them here, so yeah, let's make a start. We have, first of all though, before we start with these piles, we have all of the exclusives that I own. We have Demon Souls, a brilliant remake of a brilliant Soulstorm game. Looks gorgeous. Would highly recommend this to anybody who's into any of the Souls games. We have God of War Ragnarok, a brilliant sequel to the 2018 game. Another really brilliant game. There's a lot of references and poems to other PlayStation franchises as well. Gran Turismo 7. It's not the best Gran Turismo 7, but it's a brilliant. It's not the best Gran Turismo, but it's a great Gran Turismo. It requires online connectivity though for a lot of the features, but it's still a brilliant game. Horizon Forbidden West, an absolutely stunning game visually. Would highly recommend that. One of my favourite games on the PlayStation 5, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. I love this game. It's probably, apart from Spider-Man 2, it's probably my favourite PlayStation 5 exclusive. Even though it's on PC now. Yeah. Really love this game. It looks brilliant. It's a technical showpiece for the PS5. We have Returnal, which is a run and gun shooter game. Would highly recommend this to everybody as well. Especially with the haptics. We have a game that's great for family. We have Sackboy The Big Adventure here. The soundtrack to this game is fantastic. You have songs like Toxic is in it, Take On Me, Uptown Funk, Let's Dance, Move Your Feet. Loads of great, actually licensed songs in this. And the game is kind of challenging as well. It's basically like Super Mario 3D World, but with Sackboy. We have Spider-Man Miles Morales. This is the edition that comes with Spider-Man Remastered. Both brilliant games. Highly recommend playing this game at Christmas. Then we have Spider-Man 2. This was my game of the year last year. I absolutely love this game. Visually it's great. The story is great. In my opinion, it's better than the first game. I know a lot of people disagree with that though, but that's perfectly fine. You're entitled to your own opinion, and I'm entitled to my opinion. I just love this game so much, and I can't wait for the inevitable Spider-Man 3. And the Venom game. You have The Last of Us Part 1. I do not have The Last of Us Part 2 remastered, because I'm not partial to The Last of Us Part 2. A remake, a very faithful remake, kind of one of the best games ever made. Yes, I think The Last of Us is one of the best games ever made. Definitely in the narrative department. This game is a stunning looking game. I just don't have Part 2 yet because, well, I have Part 2 on PS4, but I don't have it on PS5. I could pay the extra money for the upgrade, but I just don't see the point because I think that game still looks stunning. And last but by no means least, we have Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection, which is remastered versions of Uncharted 4 and Hogwarts Legacy. This was released to coincide with the Tom Holland Uncharted movie. It has a lot of features that are great for, PS5. Okay. Now we move on to the non-exclusives that I have in the collection, so let's make a start. AEW Fight Forever. It's a pretty interesting, different take on wrestling. It's an arcadey style wrestling game. Just keep that in mind. It's more arcadey style here. But yeah, it's a pretty fun game. It didn't do too well, so I'm not expecting anything else from it because it didn't do too well. There. We have Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon. This is the launch edition, which comes with, well, it shows you on the back what it comes with. It comes with some patches, stickers, art cards, and a poster. The poster shall be going on my wall soon. A brilliant From Software game. From Software makes some brilliant games, but they're very difficult. Would highly recommend this to anybody who has even remote interest in this kind of game with mechs and with the Souls kind of style games. Would highly recommend this. We have Atari 50. This is basically a video game museum. This is a video game. Well, it says here, play, discover, explore. This is basically, it's got 100 different Atari games from different, like it says here, from the Little Jaguar, the Lynx, 2600, the 5200, 7800, 800 arcade. I probably just annoyed a lot of people the way I said Jaguar, but, you know. And then you have different documentary footage about, like, different games that were in here. There's even an interview with Ernest Cline, the writer of Ready Player One, on here, which is great for me because I fucking love Ready Player One. So, sorry about the language. But yeah, I'd highly recommend this to anybody who even has a passing curiosity in the video games of the past, because it's, yeah. We have Marvel's Avengers, or just Avengers. You can only play this game in the single player mode now. You cannot play this game in the multiplayer now. Let's just address this quick. This game's not that good. I mean, the story had potential, but they focused too much on one specific character who's not even an Avenger. Even in the comics, she's not an Avenger. It's an okay game. It's not as bad as Suicide Squad, which I do not have, and do not have any intention of owning, despite the fact I'm a massive superhero and DC and Suicide Squad specifically buff. But yeah, I liked the idea of this game. It's just all of the games of service stuff really crippled this game. We have Can't Drive This, which is a multiplayer crazy driving game. There's a quote on here from Markiplier, which I don't know if is actually he said about this game, because I've never actually saw him play this game on his channel, and I've been a subscriber to Markiplier for years. Epic game of coordinated chaos. Yeah, I don't know if Markiplier ever played that, but it's actually a pretty fun game. Just, you can't really do much with it on your own. We have Clive and Wrench, with a old school style manual. This game is made by one man. It's very Banjo-Kazooie Gex Deep Cover Gecko inspired, and I love it for that. It's not gonna be for everybody. Also, Trouser from a Ukulele is in this, and I love me some Ukulele, especially the second game. So yeah, it's a fun game. It's a nice little retro throwback platformer that I would highly recommend if you're like me and you're into old school games of the the PlayStation 1 and 64 era. We have Cult of the Lamb, that's the deluxe edition. Now I'm going to have to try and open this with one hand to show you guys everything that is contained within. Think that through. That's going to be a bit of a problem. Get back in. I'm going to put that to the side somewhere. You have the base game, which is really good. Really, really good. Still getting updates to this day. You have an art book, which shows you all of the different locations. I absolutely love Cult of the Lamb. And you also have a soundtrack CD. And this game has some fantastic tunes in it. Some really nice tunes. Yeah. I would highly recommend people pick up Cult of the Lamb. You can no longer pick up the deluxe edition, though, unfortunately. But, let me just... This is annoying that I'm having to try doing this when I'm recording. That's the closest I'm going to get. We'll just leave the box Cult of the Lamb open for now. Actually, we'll leave Cult of the Lamb to the side. We'll sort that out after. We have Cyberpunk 2077, the Ultimate Edition, which includes a code for Phantom Liberty. Cyberpunk is a phenomenal game. Well, now it is anyway. When it first launched, it was kind of jank, but now Cyberpunk has evolved into a phenomenal game. I would highly recommend that everybody pick up this game and give it a try. Then we have the Kaa Desert Rally, which is a visually impressive game where you can ride dirt bikes, quad bikes, monster trucks, and even rally cars across the Dakar desert, on the rally stage. Next, we have Dead Cells Return to Castlevania Edition. This includes all of the bonus stuff that was in the original game. Look, you have Rise of the Giant, the Bad Seed, Fatal Falls, the Queen in the Sea, and Return to Castlevania. A brilliant game which is very, very inspired by stuff like Symphony of the Night, which I love. It's one of my favorite games. Symphony of the Night is one of my favorite games of all time. So, yeah, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant game. Would highly recommend this version in particular to any Castlevania fans like myself. Now, just give us a new Castlevania game, Konami. Dead Island 2. This is the Pulp Edition, which came with some bonus content, and it came with this adorable little carve of the shark plushie. Me and my partner, we played through this game pretty much twice to completion. We really enjoyed this game. We can't wait for the next DLC because we really liked was Horse, the first DLC. If you're on an interesting thing, if you're on Xbox and you're watching this, which I don't know why you would be, but okay, this is now on Game Pass, so you might want to give it a try. Trust me, you might actually really enjoy this game. It's very visually good too. Has no business being as good as it is for a game that took that long to make. To come out. We have Dead Space, the remake. I love this game, but I hate how challenging it gets pretty quickly, even on the easier difficulties. Very faithful remake. Really love this one. The soundtrack is so atmospheric and creepy. The visuals are incredible. It's a fun time. A fun, scary time. We have Deathloop. I would highly recommend this game to people who like, first-person shooters with a lot of trippy mechanics. Again, this game is also on Xbox now. I'm not that partial to it. I like it. I just don't think it's a fantastic game that everybody else said it was. I don't get why this game got so many rave reviews when it released, because it really isn't that great. I probably just annoyed an entire fan base of people, but I'm speaking my mind. We have Destroy All Humans 2, Reprobed. A lot of the jokes in this game have aged really badly, especially hearing iconic voice actors like Yuri Lowenthal speaking in very offensive Chinese accents. It's a remake of a game from the early to mid 2000s that feels like a game from that time period. It's also incredibly, incredibly buggy in co-op. Me and my partner played this in co-op, and there was a mission that wouldn't even let us get into the ship, or out of it, or even use any of the weapons, so we basically couldn't complete it. It's also on PS Plus now, so if you're curious, give that a try, but I bought it before then. I bought it when it first came out. Next, we have, yes, I know, there's a game that keeps teasing people. We have Diablo 4. I got this for my birthday last year. Honestly, I'm a massive fan of the Diablo series, especially Diablo 2 and 3. I actually think Diablo 2 is one of the best games of this genre. Period. So I was expecting a lot from Diablo 4. I like this, I just feel like they unnecessarily broke a lot of things with the constant updates they had. Still a great game, though. I would still highly recommend it. It's just this. It's that it requires internet, which bothers me. I know the PC versions of all the other Diablo games did that, but yeah. I still like it. It's not my favorite Diablo game by any stretch. I still think 2 is the best. Then we have a game that me and my partner play every single day. Disney Dreamlight Valley. This is basically Animal Crossing with Disney characters. And if anyone's curious what characters are in this, you have Vanellope, obviously Wall-E, Belle, Mickey, you have Buzz Lightyear and Woody, you have Moana and Maui, you have Mirabelle, Scrooge, Goofy, Donald, Stitch, one of my favorite Disney characters. I think I said Beauty and Beast in there. Frozen characters are in there like Anna, Elsa, and Olaf and Kristoff. You have Mother Gothel, Ursula, Ariel, Eric. The list goes on, and they are next week actually adding Mike and Sully from Monsters Inc. So I'm really looking forward to that because I love Monsters Inc., especially Mike Wazowski. But yeah, this is a really good game. If you're a Disney fan, you'll love this. You know, if you're a Disney fan like I am, you'll love it. Especially when you see the characters start referring to you by your name. Also, yes, Stitch is absolutely adorable in this game, as always. An adorable little menace. We have DreamWorks All-Star Kart Racing. This game is actually better than it has any right to be. It's pretty good. It has my only issue is it doesn't have characters from all of DreamWorks because there's no characters from Ants. There's no well, there is Madagascar characters. There's no Monsters vs. Aliens characters. There's no Captain Underpants, even though I understand that'd be a licensing issue. But yeah, there's really the only franchises that represented are Shrek, Kung Fu Panda, How to Train Your Dragon, Boss Babe. So basically, all of the big ones, you know, all the ones that have multiple movies and stuff to work with. But it's pretty good still. Some of the characters can be really annoying though. We have Dying Light 2. A lot of people hit and miss with this. A lot of people talk about how beautiful this game is on PC. I think on PlayStation and Xbox, this game is kind of ugly looking, but it's a decent game. It's not, in my opinion, it's nowhere near as good as the original Dying Light. I still think the original Dying Light is a better game than this. And I know they have had a massive update for this recently that added firearms, which it took them long enough. The game's been out about 3 years now. But yeah, it's cool that content keeps getting added. It's just nowhere near as good as the original game, in my opinion. And we have Elden Ring. I would hope I don't actually have to tell anybody what Elden Ring is. I mean, I'm pretty sure you all know it's a Soulsborne game. It's open world. A good starting point for anybody who wants to check out and get into Soulsborne games. A brilliant game. We have F1 22. I'm not really partial to Formula 1 games too much, but I have this because I wanted to see what one was like. This one also added Miami track, so there's that. Kind of okay. I like it. It's just okay. Then we have Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. This is a remake, well, kind of remake, of the original Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core from the PSP. It still very much feels like a PSP game in terms of gameplay, but visually it doesn't. Visually it looks better. I wouldn't say it's exactly on par with Remake and the upcoming Rebirth, but it is visually impressive still. And now we're coming to this pile, which is a small pile, because the way I stacked them on the shelf. You probably saw my collection videos, most of you did. We have Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. This is the PS5 version of the remake. This also includes the Yuffie DLC. Brilliant game. Rebirth is probably going to completely obliterate this, though, in terms of, like, how good it is. But this is still a brilliant game. I would highly recommend people give this one a try, especially if they haven't played it yet before they play Rebirth, because Rebirth is the second of the three-part remake. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Rebirth. This is actually really good though. This PS5 version of this game really fixes a lot of the issues. I know people are saying, "Oh, the graphics on Rebirth aren't that good." They're fine. I actually think the graphics are fine on it. People had the same issue with Final Fantasy 16, and that turned out fine. It's because people tend to play these games on performance mode, which, newsflash, performance mode isn't going to have the best graphics. It's like just common sense. I usually play the games on resolution mode because if I've got the 4K TV, why would I not want to play the games at the best resolution possible? But yeah, the Final Fantasy Remake integrated, brilliant. We have Final Fantasy 16. I have a love-hate relationship with this game. I love it, but I also hate it at the same time. I love it because I think it's a brilliant Final Fantasy game, and it's definitely one of the best we've had, like, recently especially. But I hate it because I feel like there's too much padding and too much backtracking. For the way that this game handles the quest system, they really should have made this game open world. And yes, this game is not open world. Some people will tell you it is not. You have a map screen that takes you different areas that are, very in size. This game is not open world. It should have been based on just the way that the quest system is handled. But it's still a great game. I would highly recommend people. Just, yeah. We have Stranger Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. I've just probably triggered a bunch of people by having this under F, not S. But I want my series together, my franchises together. It's basically, it was described when it was first announced as a Souls-like Final Fantasy game. This is not that. This is Devil May Cry Final Fantasy would be a more appropriate way to describe what this actually is. It's decent. It's not a brilliant game by any stretch. It's not the Final Fantasy game I would immediately gravitate to on the PlayStation 5, but it's still good. We have a game a lot of people are going to get annoyed with me about, with what I have to say about it, but I'm speaking my opinion. We have Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. I don't like this game. Like, I love the Five Nights at Freddy's universe and the lore and, everything around it. The games themselves I find very difficult to enjoy because the gameplay just isn't my thing. So I was kind of looking forward to this when it was announced, because it's you can explore freely and everything. But I don't like it that much. To me, it just, for some reason, this game just doesn't grab me in terms of gameplay. And I know people are like, well, it's probably because you're bad at it. It's not because I'm bad at it. It's because the gameplay loop is basically the same thing as the other Five Nights at Freddy's games, except you have more freedom of movement. And it's just, yeah. There's a lot of parts of this game that are frustrating because of certain, choices. It's cool you get some stickers with it, though. Next, we have Forspoken. Now, I know somebody who loves this game. Yes, I know a person who loves this game. This game is... How do I say it? And you'd think I would use this cover, because I love purple, but that cover is just... The picture's boring. How do I say this? This game had so much potential to be more than it actually is. Okay, the elephant in the room, people going about how bad this game looks graphically. Again, you're talking about performance mode. Stop judging a game's graphics based on performance mode. You are not going to get the best graphics in performance mode. It's common sense. Stop thinking you are. But this game is very cringe. The dialogue is cringe. The gameplay loop is interesting, but takes so long getting to the good spells that by the time you get to the great gameplay loop, you're kind of losing interest. The story is okay, but it doesn't save it. And it's a disappointment considering this is made by the same team that made Final Fantasy 15, and I love that game. I mean, I even have a fucking poster of it hanging on the door, so, yeah. We have Gear Club Unlimited. I've never, is it Gear Club Unlimited 2, or is it Gear Dot Club Unlimited 2, or is it Gear Hyphen Club Unlimited 2? This game's name is confusing. It's basically a poor man's Gran Turismo. That's literally all it is. It does not look, by the way, these are ball shots. The game does not look anywhere close to as good as these screenshots would lead you to believe it does. But, okay. Then we have Ghostwire Tokyo, which is another game that is also on Xbox now. This game is, it's okay. It's kind of creepy in a way, but it's beautiful to look at. Don't get me wrong, it's just, a lot of this game's issues are that the gameplay loop is very repetitive in places. Again, I know someone loves this game, and that's his decision. But, like, to me, the gameplay loop of this game is just a bit too on the repetitive side for me to really get into it. But it's cool that we have a nice open world Tokyo in the game. We have Goat Sim 3. This game is absolutely hilarious. Me and my friend have a lot of fun playing this game. This is the pre-order edition, which came with free udders right there. You see what they did there? Pre-order. But yeah, it's a hilarious game that you can have a lot of fun with. A lot of references to other games too, including, you see right there, Rocket League. It also has a reference to Fortnite in there. There's references to Kingdom Hearts, Dragon Ball, The Simpsons. There's just references to all kinds of things in there. You can even wear Elsa's dress if you want to. We have Gotham Knights. This is the Steelbook edition. A lot of people give this game shit and say this is a bad game. I don't think this game is as bad as a lot of people will lead you to believe, but I don't think the game is good either. Like, it has problems. I really enjoyed it when I first played through it with my partner. Again, I play a lot of games with him. I really enjoyed it when I played through it with him. I was Nightwing for basically 95% of it, because I love Nightwing. But the thing is, the game does have some issues that it's difficult to overlook. Like, it just... The reason why they cancelled the last gen version was because of the fucking frame rate tanking. But, like, it's okay. It's definitely a better game than Suicide Squad. That's the saving grace of it. But it's an okay game still. I wouldn't say it's a brilliant game by any stretch. We have the PS5 version of GTA 5. They actually did a lot of improvements here with the ray tracing and the visuals. It doesn't... Don't get me wrong, it doesn't look like a PS5 game. It still very much looks like a game from 2013 that's had a ton of coats of paint slapped on top of it. But it's a decent game. It's a good show for what they'll probably do with 6, but just it's good, but it just... I bought it when it was cheap, and I'm glad I did, because if you're focusing on the single player mode, you're gonna be disappointed with what they've done. But if you're focusing on the online aspect as well, then there's a lot more here for you. And I think from a visual perspective, this is the best this game's gonna get in terms of visuals. Okay, just how this game looks now on this, it's the best this game's ever probably gonna look ever. It just is, which is another reason why it's Nick 6 needs to hurry up. We know it's coming supposedly next year. There's Grid Legends. This is a racing game, which is interesting because it actually points out that it's got Shutigawa there in the story mode, which is interesting because he is the current Doctor, who I'm still not certain about, because he's good, he did that great speech, but then he, in the Christmas special, decided he wanted to sing, which threw me for a loop. But yeah, this looks good visually. It's pretty interesting. It's pretty much just what you'd expect from a racing game. Okay, we have the next pile of games here. We have the Grinch Christmas Adventures. This game can be beaten in around 3 hours, but it's a good little, fun little game to play at Christmas time, which is when I did. I actually platinumed this game. It was pretty easy to do. It's a nice side-scroller. Unfortunately, it reminds me of the Cat in the Hat game on PS2 because it's a side-scroller and a Dr. Seuss game, but this is a pretty good game still. I would recommend it if you like the Grinch. It's a nice game to play at Christmas as well. We have Guardians of the Galaxy. This is what the Avengers game should have been, except, yes, I'm going to point out the very obvious issue that I have with this game, and I think pretty much everybody does. The fact that this game restricts you to playing as Star-Lord. You cannot play as any of the Guardians. To me, that was a big oversight. It just was. That was like the biggest mistake they could have made in terms of like what they did with this. And to me, that kind of, it loses points for that, but the story is really, really good. It has a lot of Mass Effect-esque narrative choices. We have Guilty Gear Strive. A really fun fighting game, but for some reason the story mode is restricted to just cutscenes, which is incredibly frustrating because it would have been cool to have like the cutscenes and the gameplay as like the story, especially with how seamless it is. But yeah, it's a really fun fighting game. We have Hades, one of the best indie games I've ever played. It's a roguelike, but you actually get rewarded for dying. So, yeah, and I cannot wait for Hades 2. This game is incredible. We have Hogwarts Legacy, and I know a lot of people are going to be immediately hating me for even owning this game, because it's an unfortunate association with the creator, but it's actually a really good game, and she had no involvement in this game, okay? She had no involvement in this. And if you're going to hate on me just for owning this game, then that actually pretty much says a lot more about you than it does about me, doesn't it? Just hating on someone just for owning a game. But yeah, yeah. We have Hot Wheels Unleashed. I do not have the sequel yet, but I have the first one, which is right here. Yeah, this is a really good game as well. I'm looking forward to getting the second one. This kind of reminds me of Trackmania and the Micro Machines games that came out, so yeah. And also the Hot Wheels games on PS1. We have Jumongi World Adventures. This game, it's still bad, but it's nowhere near as bad as the other Jumanji game that came out. This is very Uncharted-inspired kind of game, very Tomb Raider-y in terms of like the gameplay, but it's also very Crash Bandicoot, one specifically. But it's actually pretty decent. Also, this cover art, I actually really, for some reason, like this cover art. I think this cover art is really cool looking. I'd actually think a Jumanji movie poster should have that cover art. We have Justice League Cosmic Chaos. This is actually an open world game that's more aimed at kids. You can only play as Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, which, yeah. But, it's actually a pretty good game. It's very cutesy in its approach, and of course, it's aimed more so at kids. But it's still a decent game. We have KO the Kangaroo, or as some people in the game itself call it, Cow the Kangaroo. The game is good. The voice acting is not. The voice acting is absolutely terrible and hilariously laughable. But yeah, the game itself is actually pretty good, and I believe the physical version of this game is incredibly hard to find. So I'm actually lucky to own that. We have Kaa Bridge of Spirits, a very Zelda-esque game. I believe it's on PC as well. But yeah, really good game, that one. We have King of Fighters 15. This is the game that has Terry in it. Yes, Terry from Smash. Like, there you get a special thing for him. A really great, fun fighting game. Not the best fighting game on PS5, though. That's coming up way later. That's coming up under the tease. But, yeah. We have a really cute little old-school style RPG called Kataria Fables. This game is very cutesy, very old-school style. It's like a farming game and also an action RPG. Really fun, really cutesy. We have Cloa Fantasy Reverie series, which is Cloa 1 and 2. This is the cheapest way to experience these games because both of these games are very expensive on their original platforms. Both are brilliant games. I have a new appreciation for Cloa 2 after playing this. Yeah, brilliant, easily obtainable. So yeah, this is probably going to be the only Cloa game that doesn't skyrocket in price. Even though it probably will still, because it's Cloa. Just, they tend to do that. Same with Mega Man games for some reason. We have Lego 2K Drive. This is basically Lego Racers from the 90s on steroids. It's pretty much just Lego Racers, but you can play, you have, like, to build your own car, and you have, like, an open world and everything. It's pretty good. Well, it's not really an open world, it's more, like, segmented. We go from a brilliant Lego game to a terrible Lego game. We have Lego Brawls. This is a bad game. Like, this game is bad. Like, really bad. It has some cool themes in it, like it's got Ninjago in there, and like the monk, what's it called? The monkey one, I can't remember his name. That's all in here, but the game is just very bad. It's clearly a mobile game that was ported to consoles at a premium price. But yeah, not a very good game. Hasn't even really been updated that much to add anything either. So it's really just a really piss poor Smash Bros. Clone. Kind of funny how now all the Smash Bros. Clones are coming out. You know? Now a great Lego game. Lego Star Wars, The Skywalker Saga. I've just seen the next game. I've got a lot to say about the next one. This has all 9 movies in one massive game. It's open world that has the levels in between. Really, really great. If you're a Star Wars fan, you will love it. Even if you're not, you'll probably get a lot of enjoyment out of it. It's really good. And I hope we get more Lego games in this style, but we're probably not going to. We have the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection 1, which has Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3. It also has these special missions of Metal Gear Solid, and also has the 2 NES Metal Gear games. And also has Metal Gear 1 and Snake's Revenge, I think it is, or whatever it's called. The 2 MSX games and the 2 NES games. I have a lot to say about this game. Now, it's great that this exists. Like, brilliant that this exists. That we have a big collection, and that one implies there's going to be a second one. My issue with it is they didn't really do anything with the games. Like, 2 and 3 are clearly still the PS3 versions, the PS3 remastered versions, just put on here. Like, the menu was even the same from those. My issue is they run at the same resolutions. One looks terrible. Like, they should have done more with this. I'm glad this exists, but they did virtually nothing. In fact, as far as 2 goes, 2 actually runs worse here than it does on the PS3, which is baffling to me. Just, this is not a, it's nice that this exists, but the issues are really, like, just, it's cool that they actually have that there, because you need that, and that was on the original back of the original case. That's actually kind of cool. It's just this, they could have done so much more with this. It's just, these are iconic games, Konami. You could have done more. All you did was took the remastered versions of 1 and 2, or 2 and 3, sorry, slap them on this, and then took a basic ROM of the original PS1 Metal Gear Solid and slapped that on here. I mean, it's cool that you have the different variations with the different languages, the European, the US, and the Japanese, but it's kind of just, it's ruined by the fact that these games, they don't even run at a high resolution. They run at like 720p. And like, it's just, they could have done so much more with this. We have Marvel Midnight Suns. I like this game. I didn't think at first it would be my kind of game. It's kind of interesting. This is the enhanced edition by default because this was supposed to come out on PS4 and Xbox One as well. To my knowledge, those versions still have not released, and to my knowledge, they probably now never will. So there's that. But yeah, it's actually a really good game. The gameplay style isn't going to be for everybody, but it's fun. We have Miraculous, Rise of the Sphinx, sorry. I just got this game on Mobile Curiosity, because, like, I've seen the show, I know about it. It's an okay game. It's better than a lot of kids' licensed games are. But the levels are kind of repetitive, and Adrian Cat Noir gets very annoying very quickly when he does the wee thing, whatever it is that he does. We have Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate. Yes, I don't have 12 yet, or 1, whatever the hell they want to call it. This has all the DLC characters from 11, so you have RoboCop, Rambo, Terminator, and stuff like that. This is better than 1 in my opinion. 1, a lot of people have issues with. I think 1 overpromised and underdelivered. This didn't. This just did a great job. This is also, I believe, a launch game for PS5. I could be wrong. We have Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Connections. I've just realized this video is going to be incredibly long because I'm nowhere near done. It's an okay game. It's not the best Naruto Ultimate Ninja game by any stretch. It's pretty decent. But yeah, this video is going to be very long. We have NBA 2K23. I like the eras mode that this one set up, but it's also in 24, so like, it doesn't really matter. I only have this still because I don't actually know why I have this, even though I still have 24, which is a better game. I think it's probably because I just haven't bothered to trade any games in, and game don't take trades ins anymore, so yeah. We have NBA 2K24, which is pretty much the same as 23. Just, for some people it's worse, for some people it's better. It doesn't really have much changed in it, to be perfectly honest with you. But, yeah, it is what it is. I'm gonna have to split this into 2 parts, I think. Which is gonna be a pain. We have Need for Speed Unbound, which is a really good game. The art style is cool. The visuals in the world that you drive around in, and like the cars are realistic, but then the characters and the like smoke and nitrous effects are like anime style, so it's actually really cool. It's like it blends really well too, surprisingly. Better than it really has any right to blend. With Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. It's a good game. There's a couple of characters in the roster that aren't in the second one, like Lincoln, for example. But it's good. It's a good game. It was a good starting point. It kind of ruined itself on the day that it launched, because it just happened to launch the same day as the final Smash reveal. And they, on a tweet, used the slogan, "We're gonna give you..." Nintendo doesn't give the fans what they want with Smash Brothers, but we will. Literally, I believe, an hour after that tweet was made, Sora got revealed for Smash Brothers, and he was the most requested character. So, whoops. And yeah, this game was kind of handicapped from the beginning. It didn't have voice acting or like items or anything at the beginning either, so this game got better over time. But yeah, when it first launched, it was rough. Now we have Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, which I genuinely feel is the better game. I feel like if you're gonna play any Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, it should be this one. This is just a better game by default than the first one. It looks better, it has everything it should have from the beginning, it has a better roster. This feels better. This feels like a better game, because it is. We have Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3 Slime Speedway. This is actually a pretty decent kart racing game. Some of the course design in this game is actually really, really good. This is a lot of the roster here. I love how they're all smiling, except for Ren and Squidward. Ren just looks annoyed, and Squidward just looks like he'd rather be anywhere but here. But yeah, it's a decent game. Visually, it's good too. Would highly recommend it if you have kids, because they'll love it. And you'll get enjoyment out of it too, because it's got a lot of old school Nickelodeon characters on there. We have Octopath Traveler 2, a very, very underrated game that came out last year. Would highly recommend people try this one out. The art style is very, very Chrono-esque. Brilliant game. You have 8 different characters. You have to do their individual story chapters, and then they all join together. And yeah, it's really, really, really good. We have Oddworld Soulstorm. The Steelbook of this is really cool. The Steelbook is like the Madoka hand, which looks kind of creepy now that when you look at it through a camera. But yeah, just it's a cool game. It's very difficult though, and I believe the physical version is very, very rare. Like this is the only physical copy of this game I have ever seen. So I think it's rare. But yeah, let me know in the comments if the physical version of this game is actually rare or not, because the only copy I've ever seen of this game physically is this one I have right here. So yeah, it's really difficult. Some people think it's a remake of Oddworld Abe's Exodus. It's kind of is, kind of isn't. We have One Piece Odyssey. Actually, surprisingly good. A really good open world One Piece game. You can play as literally any of the Straw Hats. Really pretty as well visually. Very surprised with this game when it came out. Really good. We have Overcooked, All You Can Eat, which includes all DLC. It's basically the PS4 games, but in 4K. This was a launch game, I believe. Yeah, just it's really fun if you play it with more than just yourself. If you're playing it by yourself, it's going to be a chore to play. But if you're playing with other people, you'll be fine. It'll be fun. We have Pacman World Repack, which is a brilliant, really faithful remake of the first Pacman World. I'm really hoping we get a remake of 2. Not so much 3, but at least 2. Very faithful, brought back a lot of memories. I got nostalgia overdrive playing this, which, yeah. I might do another PS5 video at some point with my digital games. We have Persona 3 Reload. This is the newest Persona game. Well, not the newest Persona game, but it's a remake of probably one of the best Persona games. Not the best. That's coming up in a second. Yeah, really great. Visually, very great story. They improved everything that needed to be improved. They didn't touch anything that needed to be kept as it was. Just brilliant. I would really recommend it to any Persona fans. It's a great starting point as well. We have Persona 5 Royal. This is the launch Steelbook edition. This is what I genuinely believe is the best Persona game that's ever been made. It doesn't look that much different on PS5 to PS4, but it's still great, and I'm really glad I own the physical Steelbook, because the Steelbook was only available, at least in the UK over here, in the UK, it was only available for the first week of the game being on sale, so probably a very limited amount of them exist. I could be wrong, but yeah, I think a very limited amount of the Steelbook of this game exists, and I think it's going to be one that's going to be very highly sought after by collectors down the line, but I'm going to be keeping hold of mine, thank you very much. We have Persona 5 Tactica, or a lot of people refer to it, the cutesy Persona game. Pretty good. Not a very similar style, it's completely different, like combat system and everything, but it's still a good game. We have PGA Tour, Road to the Masters. It's golf. It's good, realistic looking golf, but it's golf. We have PGA Tour 2K23. Again, it's golf. I can't really say much about golf. We have Potion Permit, which is a game that is very Stardew Valley-esque in its approach. You play as a chemist. You have to make potions and cure people's ailments and stuff. You can actually get married and stuff in this game, so it's very Stardew Valley-esque in that regard. We have Resident Evil Village. This is the basic edition. Brilliant game. Great visually. Honestly, a fantastic, fantastic game. We have Resident Evil 4. This is the Steelbook. This is the remake, obviously. This is the Steelbook of it. Brilliant game. A very faithful remake, and also a very unfaithful remake at the same time. I don't think it should have been up for Game of the Year at the Game Awards, because it's too faithful for that. You may as well nominate Persona 3 Reload this year, if this is the case. It's a great game still. Brilliant graphically. And they improved a lot of things that need to be improved, so there's that. We have RoboCop Rogue City. A game which is a lot better than it has any right to be. Brilliant graphics, probably some of the best I've seen. And a really fun game. A much better game than it has any that you'd think it would be. We have Rustler, which is basically GTA 1 in medieval times. It's funny, but not great. We have... I hate this game. We have Saints Row Reboot. This game is terrible. I mean, they fixed a lot of the issues with it. So the game is at least functional and beatable and playable now. The problem is, the story is still the same, and the story is pretty damn bad. It just... I don't know, Saints Row's dead at this point because of this, which annoys me. So let's move on. We have Session, another game I'm not particularly fond of. It tries to be like escape games, but forgets that the reason why those games were so fun, despite being so realistic, was because the controls are actually, good. The controls on this game are absolutely terrible. They're very archaic. For some reason, they felt the need to use as many buttons on the control as possible. It just... I don't know if that's still the case, but when I played this game originally, when it first released, wasn't really much there in terms of content. I might reinstall it at some point and give it another go to see if they've added anything, and then, let everybody know. But I believe when I played it, at least there was nothing there. Basically, it was just barren. It was like a tech demo. We have Sniper Elite 5. This game's missions are ridiculously long. This game's missions are about as long as this video is going to be. I'm not kidding. Like, one mission in this game is about as long as the video is going to end up being. But yeah, it's a really great game visually and everything, though. And people are deciding they want to do fucking Ridge Racer or fucking Need for Speed or fucking Fast and Furious outside on the street. Christ. It's like fucking Need for Speed out there. We have Sonic Frontiers, which is the open world Sonic game. I know a lot of people love this game. I'm just indifferent to it. I think it's good. I just feel like it's not as good as a lot of people think. And I know I'm going to get hate from the Sonic fanbase for just daring to say anything negative about this game, but I'm a Sonic fan, and this is coming from me. Some of you Sonic fans can be very, very, very annoying. Because you don't like to hear that some of the Sonic games just aren't as good as you think. You have Sonic Origins Plus. This is the era of Sonic that's fantastic. You have basically, well, they're not remade, but they're made specially. You have the first 4 iconic games, then you have a bunch of Game Gear games. You can play as Amy in this, and also I used that cover. You have an art book as well. Really good. Not really necessary if you have the digital version though, because you can just upgrade it from that. But yeah. We have Soul Hackers 2, which is pretty much a Shin Megami Tensei or Persona game, just with futuristic and with other, like, different elements. Gameplay is basically those games. We have SpongeBob SquarePants, The Cosmic Shake. This game is actually pretty fun. Visually, it's really good. It has a lot of callbacks and references, especially to some of the older episodes. My only issue is they locked the costume from the best SpongeBob episode, Band Geeks, behind a paywall, which annoys me massively. We have Star Ocean: The Divine Force. I hate the combat system in this game with a vengeance. Whoever thought needing a meter for your like special attacks or your basic attacks, that's fine. But whoever thought that, your attack, your special attack, your magic, and your block and dodge roll will all require the same meter. So you can't do, if you are about to get attacked, you can't dodge and then attack back. That makes the combat in this game absolutely infuriating. And I don't know why they decided to do that. We have Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I don't have Jedi Survivor yet, but I am planning on getting it. Brilliant visually. It's basically the same game you played on PS4, just with better graphics. You have Stray, a really brilliant, really cutesy game about a cat on its mission. Would highly recommend everybody play it. It's actually better than people give credit for. This is Street Fighter 6. This is a special Steelbook edition, which has, interestingly, the cover art from the 3 other versions of the game. I really like Street Fighter 6. I love that it has a mode where you can create your own character and basically fight in like open world areas. I really like that. I think that's a great step forward for the game. Definitely a brilliant fighting game, but it's not the best fighting game on PS5. That's still to come. Given what I've gone through letters-wise, you can probably figure that out, what it is going to be. We have Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania. This game confuses me. Is this game a remake? Is it a remaster? Is it a new Monkey Ball? I believe it's all of the things that I just said. It's also, you can play as Sonic and Tails, and you can also, I believe, play as Morgana from Persona as well. It's Monkey Ball, it's fun. What more do I need to say? We have Sword Art Online Last Recollection. I forgot to show in my games room thing, I have there a Sword Art Online poster, which I got with the big, massive collection that has the 2 gigantic volumes of all the light novel stories. I love Sword Art Online, it's my favorite anime. This game's really good, but kind of slow-paced. Okay, we're near the end. We're near the end. We have TT3. TT Iron Man 3, Ride on the Edge. That is a mouthful. It's a good game. It doesn't look like this when you actually play it, though, by the way. It looks very ugly when you play it, but still a good game. We have Tales of Arise. Yes, I used the inside cover artwork for it, as opposed to that one, which is the base artwork. I used the inside cover artwork because I actually think it looks better, in my opinion. I know it's not because it's purple. I think it just actually looks better because it has a more traditional Tales art style. Really brilliant Tales game. Probably one of the best Tales games. Now we get to what I believe is the best fighting game on the PS5. Tekken 8. I love this game. This is by far the best fighting game on the PS5. It looks brilliant. It plays brilliantly. Yes, there's a few characters which still need balance patches. King. But it's still a really good game. I love that with the launch edition you get this little metal thing. I need to put that on my wall. This metal thing there. I need to put it on the wall. Anyone who's curious which character I main Leo. And yes, I know that's a bit controversial, given that Leo is, you know, I believe non-binary, but that's who I pick, because I'm really good with them. But yeah, it's a really, really great fighting game. Definitely the best fighting game on PS5. Then we have TMNT, the Cowabunga Collection. This is a brilliant collection. I have over there a pizza box, which this came in when I got it. It has brilliant games on it. You have 13, you have TMNT NES, TMNT 2 and 3 from NES, those 3 games. You have the 3 Game Boy games, that's 6. You have the 3 editions of Tournament Fighter, Genesis, SNES, and NES, so that's 9. You have Turtles in Time SNES. You have Turtles in Time Arcade, TMNT Arcade, and I forget what the other one is. Oh, Hyperstone Heist on the Genesis. So that's 13 games. You also have videos, which I think are episodes of the show, or like clips of episodes and stuff. You have comic book covers, all the artwork from the manuals and everything like that. So this is a very, very comprehensive collection, and I would highly, highly recommend, if you're a Turtles fan, that you pick this up. We have the Day of Feud Chronicle, which is a game I still need to get around to actually playing. It's, from what I've gathered, it's basically Square Enix's take on Fire Emblem. I still need to get round to actually giving this game a go. We have the Smurfs 2, Return, The Prisoner of the Greenstone. It's an okay game. I played it for a little bit. The multiplayer it's an insult to call it multiplayer. Also, apparently there must be a bootleg Smurf stuff because this required a authenticity thing. It looks like he's laughing at the creator's autograph, which I don't think is the case or what they were going for, but that's what it looks like he's doing. But yeah, it's an okay game. Also, this character I've never seen before because I'm not familiar with the new Smurfs cartoon. I just thought she was a redesigned Smurfette. Turns out she's actually not. We have Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2. Yes, a physical version of the Need for Speed guys are back. Apparently, people don't know that the physical PS5 version of this game exists. Yes, a physical PS5 version of this game exists. It is very hard to come by, but it exists. It's good. It doesn't really change much from the PS4 version, like, at all. But it's nice that it exists. We have Tropico 6, which is the next generation version as well. Pretty much SimCity, but you control you're a dictator and you're basically running an island in a dictatorship. Valkyrie Elysium, a really good JRPG that's very Nier in its style. 2 Point Campus feels a lot. Well, it's basically sequel 2 Point Hospital, which itself was inspired by Theme Hospital. So this is basically the same thing, but you're like running universities and stuff. We have Watch Dogs Legion. This is the Ultimate Edition. A really good game. At the time it came out, was probably the best, one of the best like looking PS5 games in terms of like multi-plats. But yeah, it still looks really good. I know a lot of people don't like that game though. And we have the final pile here. This pile right here is the final pile. We have Werewolf, The Apocalypse of Blood. Pretty bad game. Looks okay, but pretty bad in terms of like the gameplay. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Do I really need to explain what this game is? It's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. There's nothing more to say. Wild Hearts, which is actually a pretty good Monster Hunter style game. The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt, the Complete Edition, has all the DLC. One of the best games on the PS4 gets even better. We have EA Sports WRC, or just WRC. A good game. A lot of people say the game looks shit graphically. It doesn't, in my opinion. It doesn't look like a next-gen game graphically, or there's no reason why this couldn't have been on last gen as well, but it's okay, it was good. WRC Generations. This was before WRC EA Sports, whatever you want to call it. This feels more in line with the WRC games I know. Pretty decent game. I wouldn't play it over the new one though. And then we have WWE 2K22. Banger soundtrack on this. Body Bag is one of the best songs you can actually put for your like Rustler. This was a great restart point for the franchise. And then we have WWE 2K23. This is the deluxe edition, which includes a code for the PS4 version, which I don't know why you would need that if you have PS5. And I'm looking forward to getting 2K24 when it comes out. But this one I didn't think was as good as 22, in my opinion. But yeah, that is my PS5 game collection, guys. Sorry the video was so long, but yeah.